And we're live.
Like gets and like saves the day essentially. That is
saves the day with shrewd businessmanship.
With shrewd business.
Well, he's making a certain kind of sense. Like, you guys are about to take a decision.
We just had a president who used that same kind of rationale.
Who does?
Our last president came in. A shrewd businessman going to solve all the problems.
How is history going to look on Trump? What are the
in terms of what?
What's in the? Shut up! Sorry, my phone. It's muted and it's talking.
He's an American
politician. You call your phone filthy? I'm flattered.
What's in the first paragraph of his bio? Is it all about being double impeached, inciting a riot that took over the Capitol, and downplaying the COVID and causing extra 100,000 deaths? Or
I think it's no. I don't even think it's anything to do with what he did. Anything to do with our reactions to that. I think it's everything to do with the processing of information on a kind of societal level. I think the footnote in history about Trump is misinformation, not anything to do with Trump.
It's about lying.
Because I think it's about how does society deal with platforming misinformation and dealing with what is essentially supposed to be a democracy of informed voters making decisions about things with a world with information accessible like this. I think that's got to be the footnote from that. Because if we don't come past that, we don't have a future for that, right? If this devolves like that, sure, goodbye.
My viewers have heard me talk about this before, like 3 elections ago, maybe. YouTube was new, but it was young. So I was like, next election, it's going to be the coolest thing. Politicians can't lie anymore. That was the Woody prediction. That was how I saw it. I was like, what the Daily Show is doing is going to be democratized, and everyone's going to do it. You say one thing in front of one crowd and a different thing in front of a different crowd, and that will get on YouTube, and people will juxtapose the two against each other, and it will be impossible to lie. But what actually happened is people just take one and say, I choose this to be my truth. And it's made lying so much easier because it lets people pick their news. It's not in the short term.
It's a short-term problem. It's a short-term problem that, and like, look, I'm not an optimist in any sense of the fucking word, right? But we got 2 solutions for that, right? The one is we deal with that because this is essentially, I don't want to be like melodramatic about it. It's not like a species-threatening problem necessarily, but it's a huge problem going forward if that type of information or misinformation doesn't get countered, right? If there isn't something in place to deny that, because it's always more work this is like the strategy of gish galloping, right? The idea of throwing a bunch of shitty arguments at someone, right? You wear them out of time. You wear them out the ability to do that. Like in your 5-second window of media, they don't have the ability to respond to that. Mm-hmm. We can't govern like that. That's not a sustainable forward-moving strategy for this. So if it devolves to that, we're fucked.
The problem isn't that people lie. The problem isn't that people gish gallop. The problem is that people like it when they're lie and gish gallop too. The problem is that people choose it. The truth is out there and it's not hard to find. You can go to Facebook and debunk one post after another with 30 seconds worth of research. The issue,
but it's neither of those things. You're like half right, Woody, right? I think you can still hear
more than normal. Yeah,
you can still hear you. Yeah.
No. Like I'm not bashing you for anything. This is just literally you're half right on that, right? And that you're half right in the sense that those strategies are more effective in that time period, right? Right. Like they're more effective persuasive strategies, right? Like they reach people better. And you're right. People are happy to do their echo chamber, happy to just recite that shit. They're not doing any of that basic little bit of work that needs to be done to do that. Okay, well, this is like self-improvement. You're a lazy fuck. You don't build like a workout routine that allows you to be a lazy fuck if you want to try to do something about that.
But if that's
right? It's the same with our Americans.
If you guys are saying that's like a natural reaction of people to do that self-selection, though, then you can't really train it out of people.
Well, but it's not a matter of training it out of people. You build a system that accounts for the fact at the base level that people will be lazy about their information processing. That's part of how you build a system.
You want Twitter to censor people.
You don't decide each day if you're going to work out. You build your routine for that.
So you like, oh, go ahead, Kyle.
All right. So I agree with both of you, by the way. I think you're all right about this. And that's what we need.
I'm only half right. It's been established.
Truth.
If that.
You're going with both.
You brought the expert on, Woody. You got to get the expert view. That's how it works.
If you're going with both, I'm going to go with neither.
So, look, the real issue is that Woody hit on something where people want to hear what they want to hear. You don't want to hear that your side did something wrong. I know I don't like hearing about like, oh yeah, the United States did this war crime or that war crime. I'm like, we probably needed to. It was probably required. What were the circumstances? They did it first, right?
I mean, every other time we had a good reason to, so I bet this time we did also.
There's this apologist sort of thing, and I'm just like, no, what? Why are you anti-American? Why are you talking about what actually happened? I don't want to hear that. I don't want the truth. I don't want the truth. You know, you can feel like that at times. And right now, you got the blue side and the red side, and that's a big part of the problem. When I hear Trump talking about, or when I hear people talking about Trump perhaps creating his own party, so I don't want Trump to start his own party, but I want someone to start their own party, because I think we do need a 3-party system, because the third party would be so much bigger than the other two. And then if they had a news organization that was like, well, here's an issue we're completely wrong on, or here's why we're right, here's why they're wrong.